Welcome to Team Kings, showcasing team spirit at Kings High School. It's springtime, or so we think anyway. You wouldn't know it by the weather lately, but it is in fact spring sports season. And with us right now, two of the members from the Kings tennis team, Eleanor Baker and Kate Ruhlman, both seniors this year for the Knights. And girls, I guess we'll start off by talking about the weather. Tennis, an interesting sport to play in the Pacific Northwest in March. Always kind of a challenge. Eleanor, you're already laughing. Friday it was raining and we had some hail and even snow in some areas. What is it like to play tennis in March?
It's unfortunate that it rains so much because a lot of our games get rained out, which means we have to make them up later in the year, and we miss school for that.
Yeah.
Kate, do you have to bundle up a little more than you normally would? Or are you practicing more indoors when the elements trying to change a little bit?
Well, I think when it is cold outside and there isn't any rain, we obviously will go outside, and we do have to bundle up for that, of course. But when it does rain outside, then it's nice to be indoors and where it's warmer, but we can still get out as many reps in as we need.
Getting the reps in and getting ready for the season, which is already underway. There's been 3 matches so far. You're both seniors. Tell me a little bit about your tennis backgrounds. And Kate, maybe I'll start with you. You took the year off last year.
I did, yeah. So I am very involved in drama, so I had to take the year off last year because I had one of the lead roles in our play, and I thought that being in both probably wouldn't be the best. So I played tennis on the team since I was a freshman, sophomore, and then now my senior year. And I did play with some friends during the summer, and that's always great. And then I did take some lessons when I was younger as well.
So how hard was that for you last year? I'm sure, I know you and Eleanor, we should mention too, you're best friends.
Yeah.
She was playing on the tennis team and you were both in drama for that matter, even at the same time. Was it difficult when you would talk to her and hear some of the tennis stories? Were you missing it?
For sure, yeah. Tennis is the best. I love the girls on the team and the coaches and the time that we have together. So it was definitely difficult being away. But I mean, you have to do what you have to do and make commitments, I think, is the biggest part about it. So.
And we should mention too, you are still involved with drama this year, correct?
Yeah.
So you're doing both.
Yeah. I love both, and so I had the opportunity this year to be a part of both. So that was good.
And Eleanor, the same goes for you, right? You're also involved with drama, so you're going to be taking part in the musical coming up this year. How is that juggling your time from tennis to drama, school activities, obviously, and commitments? What is that like for you this time of year?
It's a lot easier, definitely, than it has been in past semesters or past years, just because my classes are easier. Drama is a more challenging commitment this year than last year or previous years, just because I have a more demanding role. But I'd say that as my coaches are very...
The understanding?
Yeah, very understanding.
Sure.
I can't remember. They're very understanding, and same with my drama director. They're very understanding when it comes to other commitments.
Yeah.
Now, your background as well. Have you been playing all 4 years at Kings?
Yes.
And what about before that? Had you? When was the first time you picked up a tennis racket?
Probably when I was very little. Maybe 7. I'm not sure when I started taking lessons when I was little, and then I stopped for a while and I started playing tennis again as a freshman at Kings, and then I took a few lessons in like January and February, and now I'm back.
There we go. Ready for their senior year. Yeah. You both play singles and doubles, correct? You've
Yes.
both kind of dabbled with both. Kate, do you have a preference as to one over the other?
Oh, I mean, I love both for sure, and sometimes I get to play with my sister on the team when I play doubles, but it's also really interesting to play singles because I've never done that before, and it's just kind of like, it's just you, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
And what about you, Eleanor? I know you've done both in the past as well, as including this year. Do you have a preference over one over the other, or?
I've spent most of my time playing doubles. I've only played singles once. Singles is definitely a lot more pressure because, I mean, everything's up to you. So I'd say I probably prefer doubles just because you have a partner and you can talk to them. Yeah. Like when I was playing singles, I ended up talking to my singles partner like more than I should have, probably.
It's kind of hard to talk to your partner when you're a singles player. You also have a sister on the team, correct?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. Do you, the two of you ever play together?
We'll play together, like outside of tennis, but we've never been paired together in doubles, like in an actual game. So we're hoping that this year it'll happen.
Kind of twist in the coach's arm, and maybe that'll get to happen at some point. What about the two of you together? Would you ever want to play doubles together, or have you in the past?
I think
Absolutely,
we
yeah.
did sophomore year. I think we played doubles together.
Probably. I can't quite remember. But we haven't played doubles yet together, but I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, or not this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the two of you are best friends. It sounds like your sisters are also, they're sophomores, correct? They're also best friends?
Yeah, they're pretty good friends.
Do we ever have like the seniors versus the sophomores, or the Ruhlmans versus the Bakers, or have we done that yet?
A little bit.
Kind of. I really
Not.
thought
I
about doing
mean,
that yet.
we should.
That might be something we can arrange at some point here. Tell me a little bit about your teammates. So first of all, let's talk about each other a little bit. Eleanor, tell me a little bit about Kate. What kind of a teammate is she, and what kind of a tennis player is she?
She's one of the most encouraging teammates you could have. She's also involved in a lot of stuff outside of tennis, and she's just probably, like her dad, is super caring, really cares about others, and just wants to lift others above herself.
Very nice. And Kate, what about Eleanor?
Oh, Eleanor is just an encourager. She's like a little cheerleader. She loves being there for people, and she's always there if someone is like struggling, or even if they're like at a high, I guess, when they're playing tennis. Like, she's always there. You can always hear her. And it's just great to have a friend that's so spirited.
Very nice. And we should mention also, since you mentioned the cheerleading thing, Eleanor, state champion soccer this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Kate, you don't play soccer, but not only does your best friend play on that team, your sister was on that team as well.
Yeah.
What was that experience like maybe for you as a King student and a supporter of friends and family?
Yeah, well, not only do I have Eleanor and my sister Sophie on the team, my cousin Annie is also on the team, and she actually was a part of the goal shootout.
The shootout, yeah. I think she had the winning shot, if I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. I mean, all of them contributed to it, but she got the last one, which was amazing. And so I remember taking a video and screaming, because we've never won the state championship before, and I've always been there. And so it was just a great experience that I had so many close people on that team. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And Eleanor, for you being on that team and having a state championship, what does that mean for your spring sports time? Are you does it add pressure to you? Do you feel like you got a little taste of victory and you want to see how far you can take that, or is it more about just having fun and going out and being with your teammates? And
Probably more the second. I don't feel a ton of pressure to go and win state in tennis. More just to probably have fun and enjoy my last year of sports in high school.
as you should. Talk to us a little bit about the team this year. Who else besides the? Well, let's mention the sisters first of all. Their first names.
Caroline Baker is my little sister.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have Sophie Ruhlman, who's also a sophomore with Caroline, and then Audrey is a freshman.
So there's 3 Ruhlmans players on the team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice. Who else can we watch if we're out watching a night's tennis match?
We have Eva Cobb, as you interviewed earlier. Was the homecoming queen. Sabrina Knudsen is another senior. Inya Densmore, who are the other seniors? Is the Isabel Dixon.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget any now.
We have Anna Guinia, we have Joey Mogg, we have
I think that's all.
Maya Roberts.
Yes.
Yeah. But as far as like players up on varsity too, we have Scarlett Wren, who's our singles, along with Allison Giroux and Enya, like Eleanor mentioned,
And then we have
Callie and Bailey.
Yeah, and you've interviewed Callie before.
It's a pretty good sized team.
Yeah.
Is it a tight knit group? Is it a group that does a lot with one another? Are there team bonding events that take place for this team, or is it more or less just getting out there and playing tennis with one another?
We've had team bonding events in the past. Haven't had one yet, but we're planning one.
Yeah. But all the girls on the team are just great. They're so kind and uplifting, and I just love them all. They're great.
Tell me about the coaches. Who are we being coached by out there?
We have Clay, Detjen, I think, and Val Scavell is our other coach.
They're both pros. They're amazing.
Yeah,
It's so fun to watch them like show us what we're about to do in practice, and everyone's like, "Wow, they're so
they
good."
make it look so easy.
Yeah, but they're awesome. they're just so kind, and they work together really well and work with us really well, and they're just so kind. And every time before we leave practice, we put our hands in the circle, and they're like, all right, is there any verse, Bible verse, or anything anyone wants to say? And so we kind of
encouraging words or anything you're looking forward to for the next day. And they're super.
I love that.
Yeah.
They're just so kind, and
Sounds as though they make the game more enjoyable to play and to be around.
Yeah.
That's always a plus. Are there goals for the season for the team, or are there goals individually? What are you looking to accomplish this year?
I think everyone is just trying to get better in their skills, as tennis is a life sport. You can play however many years you can, and I think basically, from my perspective, is that everyone just wants to do their best and encourage one another. And that's the one thing I love about the King's tennis program, is that it's just so, like, you can, I know this is kind of cliche, but you can, like, be yourself there, and, like, if you mess up, it's okay, and you can learn and grow, and it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
Talk a little bit about your where you play, because I know you don't actually have tennis courts at the school.
Yeah.
So you've got a couple different locations that you use. Tell me a little bit about those and what you like about each one, perhaps. I'll start with you, Eleanor.
So we will switch off between having practice at Klahia or having it at Shoreview courts. All of our games are going to be at Shoreview because there's 6 tennis courts there. But yeah, I mean, there's 3 courts at Klahia, and usually we like practicing at Klahia better than Shoreview, would you say?
Yeah, I guess. But they're both really great because they're not too far from the school. They're both probably like 5 minutes away, maybe
10.
maybe 10
yeah.
even. But yeah, it's just great that we have people who are able to let us use their courts.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. And looking at the schedule here, you've got university, weather permitting, of course, it is March.
Yeah.
University prep on Monday. That's a home match at Shoreview. And then you go to Vashon Island on Wednesday, and then you're off for a couple weeks before during the spring break before you get back for Charles Wright Academy. Vashon Island, do you enjoy the road trips? Is that kind of a fun experience?
We go on the ferry,
Yeah.
obviously, because it's across the way. But
It is. We have to leave school quite early. We miss the second half of the day to drive all the way to Vashon Island.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed that the weather is good
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
You can get over there for that one. So that should be a fun experience. Outside of school, I know both of you are fairly active. Tell me a little bit. Obviously, we've talked about drama a little bit, and we should mention too. We'll give a little shout out here. The musical's coming up in late May.
yes.
Mention the musical again and what your roles are.
Sure. Well, we are doing Peter Pan. It is the British version, which is really fun. It'll be showing on May 31st, June 1st, June 2nd, and June 3rd.
Yep.
I personally play one of the Indian roles. Her name is Cunning Fox, which is interesting. We have 4 different families: the Darlings, Indians, the Pirates, and the Lost Boys. And so, want to tell?
Yeah, I am part of the Darling family, and I play the role of Michael, who's one of the like Wendy's little brother.
So drama right after school, and then we go right to tennis. Is that kind of the way that works out? Okay, very interesting. And what other activities are you both involved with? I know ASB for one of you, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm part of ASB. I'm the administrator, which is a joint position of the treasurer and the secretary, where Eleanor's also involved in class council, senior class council.
I'm the vice president of our class, and we've been involved in it for most of our high school life.
For sure.
And you're both link leaders as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And National Honor Society for both of you? Okay, never a dull moment with either one of you.
No, keeps us busy.
Do you find time to sleep occasionally, or is that for the summer?
Yeah.
As much as we can, I guess, because we have so much going on. But
And Kate, I'd be remiss if I don't ask. Your dad is the principal at the school, Bob Ruhlman, who we've gotten to know here, and he's been on the show. What is it like going to school where your dad is the principal?
honestly, it's great. He's just a loving guy that everyone likes, which is a really good thing to like your principal, I guess. So, he's been the principal ever since I was like 4 or 5, can't really remember. So it's always been kind of the norm that he's always there, I guess, and everyone kind of knows him. So I guess it's more of a blessing to be his daughter because he's just such a great guy, and he loves people, and he wants to get to know people, and so it's just great to know him as dad, but also principal.
Couldn't agree more. Spring break is coming up. Both of you, I understand, have big plans for spring break. Eleanor, tell me a little bit about your upcoming trip.
My family is going to Spain, and so we're going to start in Barcelona and sort of just travel down the coast, the southern coast of Spain. And yeah.
Anything in particular you're looking forward to on that trip? Or?
When we go to Granada, I'm excited to see the Alhambra.
Okay, very nice. Don't blame you at all. And then Kate, you and your family are heading off.
Yeah, my family, because my parents are the chaperones along with another teacher and her husband at King's, and then my sisters were all going down with about 20 other kids to Nicaragua on a mission trip, and it's just really exciting because I've never really been on a mission trip before. Yeah. So I'm excited to serve and to learn, and yeah.
Do you have any idea what types of things you'll be doing while on the trip? Or?
I know we will be organizing a VBA for kids there, and we'll be sharing our testimonies and like making crafts, and I know we'll have a beach day, which is going to be fun.
Very good.
Yeah.
It should be a lot of fun. And the two of you have been on mission trips before together, correct?
Or
have you not?
Like cultural trip.
Cultural trip, okay.
It was a cultural trip.
We'll talk a little bit about that.
That was amazing. We both went to Israel together with a bunch of our other closest friends, and we started up in the north of Israel and
Sea of Galilee.
Sea of Galilee, right? And we went up to I can't remember the name.
Golan Heights.
Golan Heights, right?
Yeah.
And then from there we went to Jerusalem for about a week.
Yeah.
And saw, Bethlehem where Jesus was born. We saw the likely place where he was crucified.
Mm-hmm. There were two likely places and two likely places where he was buried.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. But I guess how my dad likes to put it is this trip was just walking in the footsteps of Jesus, basically, where, like Eleanor said, we were up north and in Tiberias and Capernaum, and then we kind of made our way to Caesarea and then all the way down to Jerusalem, where we just got to kind of see the Bible visually almost, but in modern day times, which is so interesting, and it's definitely an experience that I will never forget.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
I mean, her dad baptized both of us in the Jordan River.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, very fascinating.
It was really cool.
How long of a trip was that?
It was 10 days.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's not a trip that you can do everything in 2 or 3 days.
No.
You need a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Great, good for you. And then as far as college is concerned, you're both seniors. Kate, you already know where you're going next year, correct?
Yeah, I'll be going to Grand Canyon University down in Phoenix, and I'll be studying business management, which is something I'm really excited about.
Good for you. And then Eleanor, you're we should also mention soon to be, we think, valedictorian?
Yes.
Okay, very nice. Kate gave us that information there. Tell us a little bit about your college ambitions and what you're thinking about doing.
Well, I've heard back from my safety schools, but I'm still waiting to hear back from my REACH colleges. But I'm hoping to study pre-med wherever I go, so.
Do you have some ideas as to where you might want to go, or what are you, as far as geographically maybe, or are you kind of all over the place right now?
Pretty much all over the place. I really just want to get into the best college I can get into, so I don't really mind as far as from home or as close to home as that is.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So again, a lot going on with these ladies, both in the classroom, drama, other events, trips coming up, and somewhere in there they fit tennis. And so we will see again match planned for Monday against University Prep. That is over at Shoreview Park, 3:30 start time, and then if weather permitting, over in Vashon Island, and then you get a little bit of a break before we hop back into it in mid-April.
Yeah.
Eleanor, Kate, thank you both very much for coming in, and best wishes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We move from the tennis courts to the track. It is time to talk to the Kings track and field team, a team that's won 16 state championships over the years. And with us right now, a senior athlete, Allie Perrow, along with junior athlete Anthony Hart, and the head coach since 1992, Rod Wilcox. First of all three of you, thank you for being here. Coach, I think we'll start off with you. The Kent Meridian Invitational took place over the weekend, the first big invitational of the year. How are we feeling about the team thus far?
Great day yesterday. We arrived in hail and an inch of snow on the track, but it melted down. We had 3 individual champions. A great start to the season.
Talk about the individual champions and who picked up victories.
The individual champions yesterday were Silas Newby in triple jump with the new school record, Kobe Solomon in discus, and Pierce Papke in the 300-meter hurdles. I think Emma Culberson as well.
So you got a school record right away. That's impressive. I'm sure it's something maybe you don't necessarily expect on a cold day like that, or is that not the case?
It was impressive being on a cold day. I complimented him on taking care of business in his warm-ups, so it wasn't really a cold day for him as he prepared. But it's indicative of Silas had a great off-season. He trained with an outside group to really pick his game up this year. It was an amazing start for him.
So a school record and a PR, also one of which was at the table here. Allie, you got a PR yesterday. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I got my PR in the mile yesterday, 5:40.
And your previous time was what?
5:42.
So going into it, and again, we should go back to the fact that it's not exactly the ideal time to run distant events right now. It's a little bit cold outside.
Yeah.
Were you expecting to get a PR yesterday?
I was trying. I didn't know. It started hailing as soon as we started running. So,
Not exactly the ideal conditions.
yeah, but it was fun.
At what point did you think you had a good shot at it, or did you know that you had it?
First lap, I started out feeling pretty good. And when I saw my splits coming through, I could tell that I was kind of on pace. So I just kept looking at my coaches as I was running through and was able to keep going.
And I know when we were talking before the camera started rolling, you got a little bit of an eye opener here. We mentioned 5:40, and Coach, what times are we expecting for Allie this year? I know she was a little surprised to hear your time, but tell us a little bit about what you're hoping from her this season.
Once she believes it, she's going to run a 5:29.
11 seconds. That's a lot of time to take off.
Yeah.
You got the right coach and you got the right attitude. So
Yeah.
we will see. And you're not the only one that had a PR this week, Anthony. Well, first of all, I should ask you. You were not at the Kent Meridian Invitational.
No.
You had more important things to do, right?
Yeah, I had ACT class.
Coach, this time of year, I've got to think that obviously once we get to state and other big meets later on down the road, that might be a little more of a problem. But when athletes have things like ACT and other activities in their life, you have to make adjustments, right?
It's a pleasant and constant challenge at Kings. The kids are very busy with a lot of other things. Obviously, ACTs is more important than a meet, especially a meet early in the season. So as long as we can get together at the end of the season and be focused then, I know that while we have 80 kids on the roster, we'll have no more than 60 any given day, as 20 kids are busy.
Sure. And Anthony, you did participate in a meet against Sultan on Thursday, and I understand you had a couple PRs as well.
Yeah, I had a PR in 800. It was my first time running it. He said it was really good.
Your time in the 800 was a
yeah.
2:13. Coach, were you pretty excited about that? Or
It was a great time. It looked really smooth, and it's indicative of his mile and his 2 miles going to get that much better.
So the 800 essentially, which is the half mile. Talk a little bit about that because you are more of a distance runner. Is it more of a challenge for you when you're cutting down the distances and running shorter and trying to run faster?
Yeah, I mean, I got into it really nervous because I'd never run it, didn't know how to do it. And then I started, first lap was fairly easy. Then about at the 300 mark, I started to really feel it. I don't know.
And the 800, is it more of a means to get your time up for the 16 and the 32? Is that
Yeah.
kind of the thinking then?
Yeah, that was the thinking going into it.
Coach, do you have to kind of reassess now that you've seen what he can do in the 800? Will you be thinking about perhaps using him for the shorter distances now too?
I would love to use him more for the 8, but more importantly, that's going to make him more of a miler as we go. He doesn't have to resign himself to the 2 mile. And it's funny to think that 800 is a sprint for this guy.
Yeah, 2 laps. It's not exactly a short distance there. Do you have a favorite event that you do? Is it the 16 or is it the 3200?
I like them both. I haven't run the 32 this year, but so far I like the 16 more.
And Allie, what about you? Do you have what other events are you participating in?
I mostly do the 8 and the 16.
And you both do relay events as well, right?
Yeah.
What is it like for to do a relay event? I mean, in terms of, I don't know. I mean, do you pretty much know which leg you're going to be running every time, or does it change around a little bit? And is it different knowing that you're ultimately waiting for a teammate to get to a particular point before you can start running versus the gun going off and everybody running at once?
I love
Oh, there you go.
I love relays because you get to warm up with the team and I don't know, it's just fun to start together. I don't know. We always switch different legs, so it's kind of new and different every time.
Changes it up a bit.
Yeah.
What about you, Anthony?
Well, it's kind of fun because we always have multiple Kings teams in the relays, and so it's kind of fun just to compete with your own team.
Coach, you won 16 state championships, and I know the boys team winning one last year. The girls have won one as recently as I think 2014. You did lose quite a bit of firepower from last year's team as well. I know a lot of seniors and a lot of big names. Overall, how are you feeling about what the team's looking like this year, and do we have a chance to maybe see you guys doing big things later on down the road?
Well, first I have to say that while I've been coaching since '92, I've been an assistant coach until this year. So we've had some great coaches over the years with Dan Blackmer, Dante Gouge, and last year John Riccardi. So those guys have to give a lot of credit to for winning all those titles that I've been able to learn from. While we lost some big names last year, we have a really good guys team this year, and if we can continue our not just star status, but have a complete team, our guys have a legitimate shot to repeat. And the girls were on the podium last year, top 4. And with this upperclassmen doing so well and a good group of young girls, we can get them on the podium again too.
Having such a storied career, or storied program, I should say, with this track program, does it add pressure to the athletes knowing that you're trying to uphold a team that's always so highly thought of and expectations are much higher than they would be at other schools? Allie, do you ever feel that pressure at all?
I just think it's kind of cool and inspiring to think about all the other kids that have run and done so well. It's cool to think about some of the older girls who have gotten PRs and school records and have run so fast. But we don't really focus on trying to win, but just getting our own personal best times.
Anthony, same question for you. Is it kind of the same
Yeah,
thought process?
The goal is just always to do your best and get a PR out there, not really to beat anyone.
And Coach, I thought it was fascinating too when you and I were talking a few minutes ago before the cameras. You mentioned that you don't really talk about winning much with the athletes, correct?
No, the only time we even talk about the other team, it would be with the distance people and strategically talking about how they can help us be better. We can't stop them. We don't play defense. We're trying to do the best we can, and everyone's out there to get their best.
Talk a little bit more about the two of them individually. I know you did mention already that you expect Allie to trim off 11 more seconds off that time. Just talk in terms of what kind of athletes they are, and not only maybe athletically, but also psychologically. I know that's a big part of track and field as well. What kind of athletes are we looking at right here?
Well, first, as people, these are two great kids that have been a joy to work with. It is fun to see them progress. I've known them since 7th grade, and from being little kids to young adults, it's been a joy. The funny thing is to see that I believe in their strengths more than they do, and once they start to get that, they're going to be amazing.
And let's turn the tables now a little bit. How the two of you talk about Coach here? Tell me a little bit about Rod Wilcox and what it's been like to run for him. Allie, I'll start with you.
Yeah, Rod's been my coach for a long time, so I've gotten to know him really well, and he's just been a great coach. He's there every day at the track, always helping people, and like he was saying, he never is telling me that I need to go out and win or beat certain people, but he's just always encouraging me, and he always has a certain time he thinks I can do, even when I don't think I can get it, but that really inspires me a lot, and he's a really great coach.
Sure. And Anthony, what's it been like for you running for Coach Wilcox?
Kind of like what she said, I've been part of the program since junior high. He's just really dedicated, and he's always there, willing to help.
Nice. And Coach, you don't do it alone either, right? There are other coaches involved with this program.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, Dan Blackburn's been part of our program since 1978, and he's still with us with his son, Ben Blackmer. And then we have a great hurdle coach, Malia Lokeen-Hale. She's hyphenating now. I'm lost. Duncan Cole helps with his jav. We have two great distance assistants, Amy Chu and Carrie Shorak. I think that's it.
all. Yeah.
It's quite the squad.
And we're
right
looking to
there.
add more.
Looking to add more, indeed. And noticing some of the events coming up here, I know you're hosting an event on Thursday this week. You've got Archbishop Murphy, Bellevue Christian, and Shoreline Christian. Did we get all the schools there?
Yeah,
Do you,
just a little meat.
Yeah, just a small one. You guys certainly have big ones along the way, and I know also Woolsey is known for hosting some of the district meets and regionals. As a coach, I've got to think it's kind of a pro and a con, right? I mean, in some ways, it's nice to be at home and to have the athletes close by, but at the same time, it adds to your responsibilities too, doesn't it?
Definitely. Home meets, it's much harder to coach as you're trying to organize the whole meet and keep everything moving. But it is a comfort zone, so it is nice to be home.
And for the two of you, do you enjoy running at Woolsey? I've got to think it's obviously one of the more scenic tracks you're ever going to run at, and it's your home track. Is it fun, or do you kind of like to get out and, Anthony, do you like to get out and explore other tracks?
I like to get out and just see the area. Some of the tracks can be kind of boring, just concrete everywhere.
Allie, what about you? Do you have a favorite place you've aside from Woolsey, obviously?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place you've participated in track and field?
I don't think I have a favorite. I just like to go other places, but it is fun at Woolsey when our friends come and cheer us on, and it's very pretty there. So
Very nice. And as far as later on down the road, Allie, for you, you're a senior. Do we know where you're going to school yet?
I'm going to Lipscomb in Nashville next year.
Okay, and what brought that decision on? Why Lipscomb?
They have a great nursing program, which is what I'm going to be doing. I don't know, I just wanted to be somewhere new. I like Nashville. I think it'll be a fun place.
Very good. And Anthony, I know for you, you've got a little more time. You're only a junior. Any thoughts to college next year yet?
I don't want to go too far, so I want to stay West Coast. And then private's really important to me.
And Coach,
Assistant Coach Anthony. I
there
like
we
that.
go. You can keep him nearby. And well, I noticed a couple of those names you mentioned, former Kings athletes too, right? It's not necessarily uncommon to have these athletes come back.
By preference, if I can get alumni in, I definitely want there, just on a comfort zone. And they know how to deal with me, I guess.
You've been at this for quite a while. Are you still having fun doing it? And what's some of the biggest thrills for you? I've got to think, obviously, state championships are nice, but there's more to it than that, isn't there?
No, it's far more. Like I said, I forget how many we get because that's in the past. Every year is a new challenge. Every year is a new group of kids, and that's really where the fun is.
So it's been a lot of fun thus far, and they seem to be enjoying themselves early in the season. Hopefully the weather starts to get a little bit better, and then you guys can even enjoy it more so. Coach, Allie, Anthony, all of you, thank you for coming in today, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of Team Kings. We appreciate you for tuning in. Until next time, take care, and for everybody out there, happy Easter.